You're watching Let's Chat.
Welcome back. As we all know, football season right around the corner. The players are practicing in pads, and for the past, 12 months a year, for the past 11 and a half months, our next guest has been preparing the latest edition of CitiScope Magazine to focus on high school football. George Mullinex, welcome back to the broadcast.
Well, thanks for having me.
How many years have you been doing this?
This is our 9th year.
Ninth.
Wow.
And I got to tell you, this magazine, it is from 2016.
Right.
But I cannot imagine how many papers you've dropped in putting this together, how many pictures you have taken, how much blood, sweat, and tears really goes into producing something like this.
Well, it is. We start in March with our planning, so it takes about 5 months to pull it all together. The publication that will be published this Friday will be 268 pages, and as you and I have talked, it includes 40 teams that span 9 counties.
40, hold it, let's do this again. 40
teams. They span 9 counties. They compete in 16 different regions. And every team, we show the coach, we interview the coach, he talks about the upcoming season. We show their key players, we show roster statistics, everything you'd ever want to know about each team.
You show things and write things in here about not just the players, but the coaches as well. The way various coaches approach their teams, some of the motivational things they use, some of the things that they tell their players, do not do this, do not do that.
Right.
I don't know how much computer space in your office is taken up with doing just one issue of this, but with all that you've ever put together. Is there anyone that stands out in particular to you? One year that you thought, wow, we really knocked that one out of the park?
Well, I tell you, this year we have an article that we did. It's called "The Greatest Quarterbacks to Ever Play in the Chattanooga Area in the Last 70 Years."
Wow,
it goes
that's a big
back,
list.
Big list. 41 starts in 1949. It goes through the current year. And that takes a lot of time, but it's really interesting to see all of the incredible athletes that have come out of our high school football systems.
If you had to name, let's say, 3 or 4 of the top offensive players to ever come out of this area, who would they be?
Well, I'm gonna reflect on the article involving the quarterback. Steve Sloan, an incredible quarterback. Others that are closer to our year this year, you've got B.J. Coleman. You've got Javon Craig that came out of McCauley is another one. And you've got Chad Wojtek that played up in Cleveland. So those are quarterbacks right off the bat that come to mind that had incredible careers.
Defense, pick 3 or 4.
Oh, gosh. You had the Hanna brothers who played at Baylor.
Right.
And they were incredible. And we had them included. And Reggie White was another one, a phenomenal player that came out of the Chattanooga area.
I've heard it said that there is a really disproportionate number of outstanding athletes, mainly in football, but obviously it does include other sports, but especially in football, that went on to take it to the collegiate level and from that point went on to the pro level. And why do you think that is?
Well, I tell you, in this particular issue, we interviewed 9 different referees, which was interesting, and they talked about their most memorable experiences. And one of the things that just stood out was they talked about the enthusiasm around football here in Chattanooga, and they talked about the coaches. And they talked about how good the coaches are and how committed they are to the development of their players.
You want to take, for example, take a Friday evening here in 2 or 3 weeks, drive through Kimball, Tennessee, drive anywhere in Marion County on a Friday night, and it would really, really amaze you. I mean, flags all up and down the streets, there's parades, and that's just when the season kicks off. The further into the season you go, the heartier, we'll put it like that, the celebration gets. And hats off to you for what you were doing, not just in producing such a great quality magazine, but you're also giving schools the opportunity to make a lot of money with this.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. What we do is we provide the publication to all of our booster clubs at no cost. We encourage them to sell it to the parents of the kids on the teams and others that are supporting their schools. And every dollar that they raise selling the magazine, they keep for their schools. And for perspective, one coach told us it costs about $100 to outfit one athlete.
Right.
If you sell $500 to $1,000 worth of these publications, you've outfitted 5 to 10 players.
Wow.
And it's a big deal for them.
And in many cases, these individual athletes' families that would put kind of a squeeze on them to do that?
Well, you know, I think most parents want to see their kids on the roster or
Sure.
pictured or talked about by the coach. So there's a lot of enthusiasm around the publication.
All right, tell me this. You say this is coming out Friday,
Friday,
right? So
right.
literally it's right around the corner, and we only have a few seconds left. When you see these rolling off the printing line, what goes through your head?
We're really proud of it.
I mean, well, I know that, but do you do like a fist pump or
Well,
do you
yeah,
finally? Or what?
I think everybody in our office, they're slapping 5 when the magazine comes out, and everybody reflects on how much time it took to put it together, but there's a sense of real pride in what they put into it to make it what it is.
Where are you going to be able to find these latest editions when they hit the stands Friday?
Well, yeah, outside of the booster clubs, which is where we recommend everyone to go. They'll be sold at Barnes & Noble, and they'll be sold in local shops throughout our area.
All right. George, what a labor of love. What a heck of a guy you are. Thanks so much for taking care in this, or taking part in this, orchestrating this. Stick around. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 10.